second until we figure out how to
Yeah, I'm waiting for you
share.
Yeah.
There we are. No, that's
no, this
not.
is you from yesterday.
That's why I changed my clothes. So I know which is what. But it takes a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's always latency, so.
Yes. But I think this is going to be published as well.
Yes, I see you.
Yay! All right. Oh, wait. What I want to do here is I want to say who is my fabulous guest, first of all. And if I figure out how to do it, I'm going to write her name underneath.
Hey.
Yes. Let's see. Just a second, because it's going to be a wrong thing. But then we're going to change it, and we're going to have... Oops. Aleksandra Denda.
Thanks for the exclamation point.
See.
I actually like that.
There we go. You want an explanation?
No, it's okay.
So we have here Sandra, my friend. I'm really happy to say that. Now my friend and my colleague and the founder and the leader of the Rosa Vocal Group.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have her. And as I told her, she's my first real guest doing these live streams because Matt counts,
Sorry, Matt.
but he's my husband, so he doesn't count like that. We live in the same place. But I'm really happy to have her, and I wanted her to be the first guest because she's from my places. She taught me a lot about the music that is from my places that I didn't know anything, not anything, but didn't know much about it. And yeah, I'm really happy, and you'll learn a lot from her. So please welcome Sandra. Let us know in the comments if you can hear us, if you can see us well. I hope you can. We'll be able to see them pop up a few seconds later, probably. But yeah, so Sandra, I met her. I'm going to talk first.
Okay, go ahead.
I met her in New York. The first time I was living in International House, in New York. It's a dormitory, and a friend of mine, Joanna, who was living there as well, she put together a Serbian Cultural Hour, and she invited this vocal group Rosa, female group, to come and sing as a part of the program. And so Sandra came, and Shilpa came, and Maria was here. Maria, who is another co-founder. And who else? It was the three of you or four?
It was Tiffany as well.
Tiffany, that's right.
Tiffany, I think Eleni was there as well because we were singing.
Was five of us?
Oh, okay. Or maybe not. I remember Irma was there as well at the time. But when
I think it was like four people or something like that. Because I remember you guys being so strong, and there was like not many people.
Not many of us. So it was like 4 or 5 of us. But Shilpa, Tiffany, Maria, and I were definitely there. And then there might have been Irma as well.
Yeah. So just to give a little bit of explanation, Rosa is a group that sings Serbian traditional music, but the members of the group are from, all around the globe. Yep. Really. Where is Irma from?
Irma is from Malaysia.
Right? I was thinking that. Is it true? Yeah. Yes, because Irma, maybe we just overlapped for a little bit. Mostly it was people from Berkeley.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember I was like, I'm the non-Berkeley person.
But at the time, at one point, we had Aleksandra Denda, the opera singer.
That's right.
She wasn't from Berkeley, and we had Alida from Dominican Republic.
That's right.
So I feel like there was a balance of like non-Berkeley.
Yeah.
And I think
well,
now
that's not
also
really balance.
I feel like now there's like it's 50-50.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. So most of the singers went to Berkeley School of Music in Boston. And then many of them moved here to New York, right? Yeah. So, and Maria was here in New York, right?
Yeah, she was studying at a new school.
That's right. And so they had a show, and I was overwhelmed, but like in a good way, with this sheer powerful sound that came from these women singing music that's so close to me. The sounds were familiar, but I didn't know anything about the vocal production, the techniques or anything, and I was like, I want to be a part of this group. I loved it so much. And a year later or 2 years later, you guys were looking for new members, and I applied, and it was it's been a great journey.
When you say applied, it sounds
I did. I saw it. I saw it because I was looking for the image for the live stream, and then I saw like Rosa auditions, like from when I came. Wow. Yeah, and it was like to apply, contact this. So I applied.
Okay.
Yes.
You submitted your application.
I did. I auditioned. I got in, and yeah, it's amazing what I learned, really. So what got you into this? Because just to give, why didn't I know anything about it? Because it's not popular, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big topic. We can definitely touch upon that because it's the same thing back home.
Yeah. Exactly, and I know you mentioned it. So how did you get into it?
So my first encounter with some kind of traditional music was actually through dance when I was in kindergarten. So folkloric dance.
Ah, yes.
And I remember I was enchanted by Vranje, which is the south, which was heavily influenced by the Ottoman Empire. So, and I think it might have been for the music, it might have been for the attire, because you would have those kind of harem pants and a lot of ginger. Yeah, a lot of that.
A lot of jewelry.
A lot of jewelry. You would have like a lot of head pieces as well, which I found very enchanting. So I remember loving that. I was like also selected as a soloist, so I was really into it. And I remember like dancing with daire was like one of the highlights of my time.
What's daire?
So daire is a percussion instrument that kind of looks like, how would you call? Oh my God, what's the word in English? So it's like a frame drum, but it also has like the chimey things, the metal things on the sides, right? So you hit it on, there are different places where you can hit it as the frame drum.
Like a tambourine kind of thing,
a little bit like that, like a tambourine, but tambourines here are usually hollow. This one has the surface that you would hit
Pandero.
on. Yes, kind of pandero-ish, yes.
But with the thingies on the side.
Yeah. With the thingies on the side.
Little bells.
And the bells and the chimes are a little bit different than pandero ones. So I remember like you would dance with it and kind of hit it in different places on your body, like up until like from here all the way to your knee. And for me, that was like the most amazing moment when I danced this type of music.
Yeah, we want to see you go like this, so that's why I'm gonna move.
So I remember that was like I waited for my solo act just for the moment that when I do that. But then after that I went, in terms of like my musical education, I went more into classical music with instruments. I first played accordion, ironically a very folk instrument, but I played Bach on the accordion. Then I switched to piano. So as this kind of music wasn't really popular, it wasn't really on my radar. And the thing that was happening in Serbia more than any in other ex-Yugoslavia countries was like this degradation of anything that has to do with an ethnic sound, so to say. So in the 90s, with the rise of Milosevic and dictatorship that came along with his reign, there was this like I don't want to say cultural, but social phenomena, so to say, of turbo folk, which was basically...
I wanted to ask you because I'm like, wait a second, but turbo folk became huge.
It was huge. So basically it was drawing from certain elements of the ethnic aesthetic, but it was largely manipulated and changed, and it was like put together with this very like turbo techno kind of beats, and then also the whole and like when we look at the lyrics, when we look at the context of this music, right, there was no folkloric context of these songs. These women were naked dancing, and it was very sexualized, so
very true.
Nothing in terms of values and stories had to do anything with folklore, with actual folklore. So it was really just like part of it were taken enough for the people to have that be inviting for the people, because like, oh, this is in my DNA, I feel attracted to this, but it was really some sort of blasphemy compared to the actual traditional singing. So for me, any information about this kind of music later on as I was growing up, and sounds that I was surrounded with. It was like, oh, anything that like this is like turbo folk equals folk.
Yes.
It's freaking horrible in every possible way, not just musically and aesthetically, but just the whole package was wrong to me. So for me, like growing up, I was very much oriented towards Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Madonna.
We were all
and
like.
I remember there was like one channel on national TV that would broadcast MTV for only 1 hour. I think it was like from 7 to 8 p.m.
Oh my god.
So that was the highlight of my week, or like of my day. Okay, I wait at 7. I go in front of the. I put on my VHS and I press record, and then I have something to play when I feel like I want to see or hear music. And music videos were big at the time, right? Like early 90s, whoosh, it was like so captivating.
Yeah, and
so,
MTV was the thing.
Yeah, so I would say not just for me, but for many people of my generation, especially I was growing up in a very urban environment. I was from Belgrade, right? I didn't have much connection with village life and village communities where I feel like this music exists more and it's more nurtured. So for me, really, this music was kind of covered with the veil of oblivion. It was really just under the curtain. And then coming to the US, I remember a friend of mine that I just met at Berkeley said, "Hey Sandra, so like there's this amazing concert of Bulgarian music, like do you want to go and see?" And I was like, I come from there, like I know that music, like it's nothing new for me. I'm not interested. I remember like just dissing him, and I remember him being like super offended. I was like, "Oh, but it's so beautiful, what are you saying?" And I was very uninterested.
Yes.
Until
I can totally relate.
Until one point that I think a friend of mine played me a performance of hers, because she was part of that ensemble. She's like, "Hey, like let me show you what we did." And I remember listening to one of these like Bulgarian voices kind of arrangements. I was like, whoa, hold on, this is amazing. And there was another thing, there was Yaninku, which was kind of very jazzed up, harmony wise version of one of these songs, and very super rhythmical, super intricate and amazing, and with this particular vocal technique that was piercing, right? I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And then something sparked in me, and I think also I've been in the States at that point for a while, so that you get to look at yourself from a different point of view. When you zoom out of your environment, you get to see yourself, but also your country in a different way. So, and you also want to know yourself from a different angle, as you observe yourself from there as well. So I don't think it was very intentional. Now that I really see what I was going through, I can kind of in hindsight figure out like what was going on. But yeah, there was something that made me gravitate towards that music. And so we sang a lot of Bulgarian, some Russian music.
So this was in Berkeley,
it was in Berkeley,
an ensemble.
Yeah. But I remember, we did work on technique, but that technique is so specific that I wasn't really quite getting it. I remember I was able to imitate the sound, but it was very stressful on my vocal folds.
Yeah, so, because you go to like
you're like okay, chest, let's go,
chest,
tighten the throat. And I hear it's here, but I wasn't really able to get to that sound effortlessly and be able to also be more free, and like go into all of these inflections, and that's actually the magic of the music. It's not just the melody, it's not just the sound, it's like all the little things that you do, how you bend the notes, how you feel the melody move, right? How you feel the rhythm or lack of rhythm for that matter. That's really
everything is rhythm, man. The lack of rhythm is rhythm.
Or let's say time feel, right?
Yeah.
Whatever
absolutely.
Time is.
Absolutely.
In certain genres, it's really what sets genres apart. It's the time feel, right?
Yeah.
Like 7/8 here, 7/8 in Turkey, 7/8 in India, and 7/8 in jazz fusion are completely different things.
They're different 7/8.
Yeah, they're totally different 7/8. So yeah. And then at Berkeley, because it's such a multicultural environment, I also got a chance to sing traditional music from so many different places. I feel like that thing of like, okay, music is not just jazz, R&B, and gospel and soul. Like, wow, music is all of this, and I got to be introduced to all of these different sounds from these different friends and musicians that came from different places. That I was just enchanted. And I remember at one point being super also lost of like, what I'm gonna do with all of these things now? Like, what I'm gonna do with knowing these ragas or knowing the, South Indian konako? Like, what is this gonna do me? Like, because I'm not getting. It takes a lifetime to get super deep into Indian classical music.
Any of these.
Yeah, yes, any of these. Exactly. Like, kids start at 4 and like very rigorous training. So, but I feel at one point in your life, things always come full circle one way or another. And what was interesting later is when I was writing my own music, people would tell me, oh, I hear Balkan in your music, even though I'm singing in English. And for me, it's very like neo-soul influenced. But then there's a flavor that just became part of my vocabulary that it's not intentional, that just comes through. And all of these different things that I've been working on. So I feel like everything serves you at the end. It just...
absolutely.
Time needs to pass. So so I kind of went more after kind of finishing that Bulgarian Balkan chapter. I went more into these different sounds, and then moving to New York, I got really close with Maria, and she was doing a documentary film about traditional Serbian singing, about the aesthetics, about the musical background and context, but also about like a social, historical, as well as political context that we touched upon a bit. But for me, like hearing these field recordings that she showed me, I was like, what? This exists? This is part of our heritage? Like, we have songs like this? Because I know the turbo folk, of course, which is not the thing, but then I remember hearing some songs sometimes, like the ones that are super, super popular, like Moj Golube or Hajde Jano and stuff like, and also things that I remember from dancing folklore.
Yes.
But that's such a different world from what I saw when she showed me these like super old songs, especially these songs na glas that are believed to be centuries old.
So what is na glas?
So na glas.
I'm gonna ask you.
So na glas. So in traditional Serbian vocal singing, there are several ways how you can categorize things, but one of the main categorizations is between singing na glas and singing na bas. So glas in Serbian or Serbo-Croatian is voice, right? So na glas would mean the emphasis is on the melody, and it's usually just a 2-part song, and usually sang only by 2 singers. Rarely, like there's this one group of 3 sisters who manage to sing this music very well together, but because it relies so much on feeling each other out, right? We mentioned no existence of time or specific time.
Yeah, it's the breath time.
Yeah, the breath time. It's really just like you cannot really do this with more than 2 people.
Yeah.
So you would have one singer that carries the melody, and then the other singer, depending on what area of what region the song is from, you would have like certain glides or a lot of moments of unison, then splitting into minor or major seconds. I would say like that's one of the main characteristics, and a lot of these kind of drony moments where that second voice is kind of playing around the main melody. It's not really providing like a pedal and particular harmony that makes sense to a Western ear. Whereas in singing a bass, which is bass,
that's the base, that's the foundation.
That's the foundation. So here you really hear some kind of harmonic movement, usually just between the tonic and the dominant, and that pedal is really more rigid, right? It's just kind of changing on 1 or 2, sometimes 3 notes, but it's very, very rigid, where the melody is more intricate, also more intricate compared to the melody of this old style. That's how we also would make a differentiation when people try to figure out, okay, how old are these songs? Okay, let's see the range of the melody.
Interesting.
If the range is bigger, it's probably a newer song.
Yeah.
If it's smaller, it's probably an old one.
That's interesting. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
when you tell the tree how old is it, like counting. Yeah, it's like
Oh,
but
I
it's the
love
other
that
way
analogy.
around.
Yes,
It's
yes,
the
yes,
opposite.
yes. Because when you look at it, ethnomusicologists are really dealing with limited data.
Oh yeah,
There's
absolutely.
not,
Yeah.
these songs are super super old. The first phonograph was like end of the 19th century, so you
So
cannot
what happened before?
yeah, so what happened before? And for a lot of these songs for Naglas, and we can play some examples so people get an idea how it sounds like. There's a lot of theory that they were imitating wolves, or they were imitating sounds from nature. That's why like all of these, so to say, dissonant, right? For us, it's for Western ears like, oh, minor seconds, so dissonant. But for them, it's like, that's what it is. Like it's our normal sound, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
them, they would not even make differentiation between dissonant and consonant. So for me, that's also interesting of like, what's considered the norm.
It just changes with
It,
time.
yeah, and it changes with geography
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And also,
yeah.
like, especially when it comes to meter, because a lot of times when we mention that we sing in odd meter, people are like, wow, like, how do you count that and this and that? But then when you go around the world and look at the folk music, most of it is in odd meter. So now the question is, like, what came first? Like, what did we do? What do we naturally feel across the board?
Yeah.
And was it the 4/4 just a way to package it, to make it more rigid,
To make it more standardized.
standardized, exactly.
Yeah, so it's easier
More
to
polished.
to learn or to share or whatever. Yeah, it makes sense. No, when you say that for the same cultural hour, you just reminded me of this. Jovana was making all of us dance as well, and it's called International House for a reason. Like people live there from everywhere, and then she was having such trouble. We were doing a folklore dance on Niška banja, topla voda, right? And it's 9.
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1,
1,
2,
2,
3. And she was going crazy because she's like, what's wrong with these people? They can't dance. They cannot count to 4. And I was like, how is it 4? She's like, so 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3, and then 4 is 4. So it's got 3 syllables, right? And so she's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's wrong with those people?
How they cannot get it, right?
And they're falling apart at the beginning because, these are young people who are like set in something and they did not compute her information, which was very different than the musical information.
Yeah. I remember Eleni had the same thing about also explaining some kind of dance. I think it was at a party or something. It was in 7/8, but she was like, it's basically a 3, guys.
Yeah, but
1,
it is.
2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
It was like, Eleni, it's not. She's like,
Yeah.
I think they can get it easier if we just say it's 3 and not 7.
But I think it's true.
Yeah, it is true.
Yeah,
like
she
it is,
was right
it
because
is
it would be
subdivision.
like it's too much counting to 7. So
it's
fast.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
I remember like at Berkeley at ear training we would have odd meter examples, and I remember some of the teachers counting them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I remember me and one guy from India just holding our heads.
Well, yeah,
But
because
not
the
saying
teachers were from here, right?
Yeah,
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I got a lot of cred for the odd meters, like innate with me in school here from some teachers. They were like, "You get this," and I'm like, I wish I could take the credit for it, but it's not so much. But let's play something from Naglas then, because we spoke so much about it. And thank you guys for commenting. I'm glad that you can hear well. Okay, Matt's here. Sounds good. Great. John, thank you. And Nada, Merry Christmas. Awesome.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so let's play. What do you want to play from Naglas, and where do we find it?
Jetrve is in Naglas.
Jetrve.
So this one is a harvest song. So it's considered a ritual song, basically.
Yes. So it's a song that we're gonna record later.
Yes.
That
so
we learn.
here you're gonna question your ears probably listening to this. So just I want to invite everybody to stay with an open mind.
Remember when we rehearsed it for in front of the other Rosa members? They're like, "What the hell is this
going on?" And I remember rehearsing once. It was True Bromaro, and it was Matt was here with a friend, and we all left. And one of them said,
our roommate. He was our roommate
he
here.
said, like, they're all college trained.
Yeah,
singers,
they're like professionally
right?
trained musicians. Are you? And I'm like, yes.
Are you sure?
We do this on purpose. So yeah, let me play this. Jetrva is, what does it mean?
Jetrva. Oh my god, I'm so bad with this because this is what we
why
have
I'm
so
asking
many.
you.
We have so many words, guys, for.
It's like sister-in-laws or something.
Yeah, I think it's sister-in-law, but I think it matters if it's like from the bride's or groom's side, but I'm not gonna go into it.
Yeah.
So Jetrva is plural of sister-in-law. Let's just keep it like that.
Oh, by the way, to give context, the guy who was our roommate, Matt, just said he was a composer too. He was. That's right. He was a composer. So there.
There we go.
But he liked it. He was just like he wasn't sure.
He wasn't
sure what's going on. Yes.
And yeah, another thing that you probably notice on this one, they say like for village singers, it happens naturally that their intonation as they're singing, like as they're keep on singing, it goes up.
Yes.
Which is very interesting because for a lot of also trained musicians, if we're singing a cappella, we tend to go flat.
That's
but
right.
for them, they would tend to go sharp.
Yeah, and especially in this song, you'll hear it every verse. It goes up. If you really, really pay attention to it. At first, I was like, "What?" when I was listening, but by little intonation.
Yeah,
but
tiny.
it seems like it's on purpose for them in this song, because it always happens at the same time, at the same. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe
I
it's.
remember listening to Svetlana Spajic workshop, and she would say that for them it would happen naturally.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not.
It's not intentional.
Yeah, it's not something that's planned.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah. So, but we have to do it.
Yes. We
it's
have
not
to
in our,
intentionally.
you
It's
know,
not it. Yeah.
It's not our habit. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen. Hey, Joanna is saying hi. And
Yay!
Jantic, open mind and open tonality.
Yes.
I'm gonna put this so you guys can see
pin that
them just to
comment.
keep it. Yes. Let me just make this a little smaller so we can see. Okay, here we are. Jantic. All right. Let me do this share screen. I'm saying this so I remember because otherwise I forget a step and then you can't hear anything. But so these are jetrve se
Na dvor sabiraju.
So it means they're gathering in the
backyard.
Backyard, yes.
Yeah. So dvor, it's interesting. Dvor basically in conventional Serbian or whatever means castle. But dvor,
A dvor or dvorec?
dvor or
Okay.
dvorec. It's kind of both.
No, because we say dvor for like in front of our house. Like dvorište, dvor.
So, but dvorište.
And in
Dvor-
our dialect as well. Like I have to be like, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
and mi
Yeah.
Croatia tres.
But
But we say greš na dvor.
Wow.
Like in front of your house. It's
so
not backyard, it's front.
Okay. Here
For
it's
us.
also dvor is because this song is from East Serbia. It actually comes from Bulgarian. Dvor in Bulgaria means backyard or garden.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
There.
yeah, it's not a
Okay.
palace.
It's not a palace.
And sabirajo, it means they're gathering.
Yeah.
So the sisters-in-law are gathering in the backyard.
Okay. Everybody listen.
Listen up.
Yeah, so let me just show you the beginning of song. So now you have it in your ear, and just if you listen to it,
Oh, bravo.
where does it start? Because it's so,
Yeah.
so much lower. Yeah, I'm gonna pause it now.
And it's so interesting because it's slow, right? So just naturally,
There's 2 points where they
Right.
go
Where they
higher.
go higher, yeah.
What I noticed.
and
Yeah.
it's so hard to go high when something is slow. I think that's just what fascinates me. And another thing that I kind of remembered while we were listening to it, especially like how they start, how usually singers stand for these type of songs that are usually duets, is their foreheads are touching.
Oh, seriously?
So basically, they believe that they're attuning to each other.
With the vibration.
Yeah, the vibration. So that's how they're kind of connecting,
Oh,
and then they're able
wow.
to sing better together. So a lot of times they're just like, forehead to a forehead. Yeah, they will like lean towards each other.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
And the yee-hoos,
Well, we have, I just pulled it up. I wanted to ask what's up with the screams.
the screams. A lot of you would hear this in end of a lot of songs. Also, like if you listen to a lot of music that's danced to, like with folkloric dance, there's like a lot of either like like a little bit more uplifting, but still with that.
Mm-hmm.
From what I know, it's believed that it's believed to have these like magical powers that it casts away evil spirits. So especially if we have in mind that this is a harvest song, it's a type of a ritual song. So basically, they're
Mm-hmm.
casting away any type of bad energy, and they're just creating a good energy in the household. And also, I remember being at a workshop. This was music from, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Egypt, but I remember it was North Africa. And this lady, she's a dancer, but then she mentioned some elements from music, and then she started making these noises that were kind of something like that. But it had the same effect of like casting bad spirits, evil spirits away. So
Nice.
I feel like this is something, that exists in so many. I feel like it's such a folkloric thing of, talisman and protection, right?
Yeah.
So some cultures have it more as solidly, right, as a rock or something of that kind. I feel like this is like the sonic talisman.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see what she say. What was mother-in-law doing meanwhile? Why jetrve sang? Not gonna answer that. Yes, Sandra.
I would not know. She's not mentioned, so maybe she was cooking lunch.
Yes, exactly. But they were like gathering. Let me just try to put this like so we can see everything here. Okay. Gossiping. Yeah, maybe.
Gossiping.
So it's from Eastern Serbia. It's somewhere to Vlachs.
I think this is souther than that. This is Svrljig. The village is named Svrljig. So you can check that. I feel like Vaška is a little bit norther than that, but you can double check.
Yeah. Okay. So let's keep going. Do you want to listen to something else or show some other music or?
We can show you Groktalica,
Yes.
which is
What is that?
yeah, something totally different. So as I mentioned before, there are different ways how you can organize, what types of songs we have, right? So based on how old they are, or like whether it's a duet, right, or more of this pedally thing, we can say na glas, na bas. Then we can organize them based on the occasion that they're being sang for. So a lot of these songs were just part of life, right? They were music, they were the soundtrack of a common man's life, especially for all of these like main events, right? Death, birth, wedding, slava. Actually, I learned recently that there were songs that were like specifically for drinking.
I'm not surprised at all.
Not surprised at all, but I feel like I never encountered them. But then it was like, because I felt like, okay, there's Slavske pesme, right? There's songs for Slava, so of course, like you would drink, but there was a particular song, like particular songs for just, this is what you drink, this is what you sing, kind of a thing. And then a bunch of these ritual songs, right? Harvest songs, Dodolske pesme, right? The ones that were for summoning rain. So a lot of these songs were just really either a part of a particular social event or had these magical powers. And for me, also what's interesting is like the female role as well, right? And then you have songs that are more private songs, especially because songs that Rosa sings are usually from female perspective or songs that were sang by females. So it's very interesting if we differentiate private songs and more of these kind of love songs and then ritual songs and look at the role of a woman. Because in the private songs, women are usually lamenting, right? They're lamenting of like being forced into a setup marriage. How do you say? Arranged marriage. And not being happy in their household, and their mother complaining of how they're not getting married just yet, or when they get married they're gonna regret it.
Everything that you can think of, it's not good. Like,
it's not good.
That's
yes.
the point.
It's constantly.
Why aren't you married? Why are you married with this person? Like, yes. Everything is a problem.
Everything is a problem,
yes,
and you really feel this submissive role of a woman as well in these how would you say, like these testimonials of a sort, right, through these songs. But then in ritual songs, women are given this magical power, right? That's all, and for a lot of these types of rituals, only particular type of woman was allowed to do a particular ritual movement or dance or sing these songs. Sometimes those were women that were not married, or women that didn't get their period yet, or old women, or widows, just a particular type of woman. So, on one hand, women don't have much to say for their own life, but on the other hand, they're communicating with the other world, and they're taking care of the crops and all the good fortune, and everybody's well-being at the same time. So, that's interesting. And also, for funerals, right? Women have these songs that are sang at funerals. They have this kind of transformational power as well, of like, you sing, you mourn through these songs, but you also transform and let go of pain at the same time. So for me, it's such interesting duality of what women could do, and what kind of very different roles they had, and how they actually are seen through these songs.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. For me, that's like, wow.
Yeah.
So the song now, totally unrelated. But so Oikalica is a type of song that kind of.
I'm gonna stop you because Joanna has a question. Yeah, if anybody has a question.
Wow, Joanna, you're on a roll. Okay, let's see. I have one more question. Sorry, you're not boring. You're great.
Yeah.
Do you still discover traditions behind these songs as you go and perform, or this is something that has already been known already and you learned about it? Like, do you travel around Balkans now discovering things?
She's traveling now around Serbia. I can see where this is coming from.
I would love to hear from you. To be honest, I mean, that's been on my bucket list in a way, of going around and finding out. First of all, like maybe talking to some of my family, and then checking out, because also it's, where do you start? It's not just you pick a random village and then you knock on someone's door. And then you
can do that.
You can do that, but I think you have to be more organized about it.
I mean,
or not.
Or not. But I can actually give you good advice there, because I did. Okay, first of all, now with internet, and I'm sorry, I know you're traveling around, but with internet, like, you can find so many things already, right?
Yeah.
That you would not be able to do before. Just it's efficient. But what I did is with Sres stuff. So let me just tell a little bit about this. So I didn't know about our music so much when I was growing up. I wasn't in folklore, but I was in music schools where we would always have some like Istrian type of songs, but they were like written down, tempered, and done in a certain way that's
and you would
more
sing
contemporary.
Them in class, or what
Yeah. We would always be a part, and it was considered like a. Njegovanje tradicije, like we would be a part of like keeping the traditional music and keeping the tradition, and they had like but specifically for Istrian region, because they have such special kind of songs and the whole style. we would like go every year to this like the competition for it or something, being from the city but like learning always some repertoire from that, right? And then later, since my parents are from Tres, I learned later that there's like a huge tradition on Tres of this music, but I didn't know about because it was never a thing.
Yeah.
Because folklore, like nobody,
it was never hip. You know, it was never hip.
Now I think it is actually,
it's
and it's changed a lot. But I remember when I was a kid, when we would have like, you mentioned Slava, which is like family saint. We have village saint. I don't know if you guys have that, but so there was like a big party every like Saint Rocco is the 16th of August. Saint John is 24th of June. Like I know it. Saint Anne is like 26th of July. Usually they try to pick it during the summer because we're a tourist place. But so some villages have like a winter saint and a summer saint. But you would have a party and you would have a band play and like a typical like village
Will you
thing.
even have like how it's called, like procession?
Yeah, well, you would have a mass, you would have a procession in the morning, then everybody goes to hang with their families who are from that place, and you gather like wider families, not like your close one, but everybody comes on that day, and then later at night you have a party. But now you often have a folklore performing as a part of the party for everybody. Before, when I was a kid, that did not happen. It wasn't a thing.
I think it also had to do with communism, because we were kind of,
Okay, so 1 second. We were born in the same country.
Yeah.
So it was Yugoslavia, and then in the 90s we had a split, a war, and everything. So now it's Croatia and Serbia, but shared the same political background. Yeah.
So I think it was communism, because during communism, right, to keep everything levelized and keep everybody to stay drugovi and drugarice equal, right, in any point in any category. I think any type of that can set us apart,
like a distinction.
Yeah, any type of distinction was kind of like like pushed down, or like, okay, this doesn't exist.
And
So I think might be a part of that, and I think now there's been some time where these countries have separated, and everybody's also just coming back to their national distinctions or elements of distinction. So I think we're unearthing that more and more. And I think it's also, that's on a local level, but I think also on a global level, it might be like a response to globalization.
Oh yeah,
because globalization is doing that now across the globe.
Yeah,
right. But it's not. We're all the same. We're all Western, right? We're all. Let's keep it like that's the golden standard. And in order to be viewed as valuable, you need to be as close to that as possible, right? Which means ditching everything. I remember like really seeing the biggest influence of globalization when I was in India, because I would see insane things like white people on billboards in the middle of like a shopping center in India. And you know, like, for Indian brands,
talking to?
And I'm like, what's going on? But like, that's what they're making people aspire towards, you know. And on the other hand, India's so incredibly rich culturally. Oh my God! Like you move half an hour from one place to another, and it's totally different world in every possible sense. So just for them to levelize that and just go towards something that's not even theirs is it was really just, you could feel that effect of globalization. So I think a lot of
it's like a response to that.
Like a response to that, like a counterpoint, you know.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yeah.
But you were mentioning something about stress, right? Did I think I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. This is what I love. Like, this is why I wanted to have her here, because we get to like talk about everything and anything, and
those are called the octopus conversation. You know, you start in one direction.
I'm like,
and then
I mentioned this.
Spread out.
But no, I was telling you how to go about the research. Remember?
Yes,
because it was Johanna's question. No, but so what I did is, so later I learned that actually I like in my family, my cousin, who he plays the bagpipes, that Matt learned later from him, and he's in the folklore, and his whole family is really involved with it. But I didn't know like what kind of music they like. I didn't know anything. I was so clueless. Let me just put it out there. And I never thought, I was like, oh, the Tres songs, okay, they're like whatever, like it's now contemporary, but like if you think about the old songs, it's Italian, like Propaganda, which is from, you know, before the Second World War, and everybody, and you have songs that are like half Italian, half like in the dialect and everything. And then I decided to record. I was like, okay, let's meet up. My mom, his mom, in the village. She still lives in this small village of, it's called Belay, in the middle of Tres Island. And my dad came as well, and Dario, he's my cousin. And I was like, okay, and like you guys always sing all these songs. Half of them I'm like kind of like know them, but I don't really know them. Let me record you guys. I brought the Zoom, pressed record in their kitchen, and we started singing. And I was actually interested in like the Italian stuff, and you know and then there's like I mishmo do crescia, I mishmo sempre mi, you know, like that kind of stuff. And then they go to like Alus in piccolo, you know, like the Maliloshin, like that's in Italian. No. And then they start singing. Oh, then Teta Roma, this is mom of Dario. She starts singing Filipović i naš car, svaki puši svoj cigar. And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, this is our songs. Like literally. She's like, and this then it blew my mind, because it's like, whatever you sang, like everybody would bring songs from everywhere, you know, different places, and you just embody them. And it's like, it's my song. It's like, it's what we sang when we were kids. This is it, you know. And I'm like, this is Bosnian. This is Turkish, like da 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 da, you know. And then it's like Maramu crvenu I kalcetu šarenu or something. And calcete are socks in the dialect, which comes from Italian.
Yeah, I wanted to say it sounds Italian. Okay.
You know, and I was like, what is this?
It's a mishmash, yeah,
and
everything.
Then my cousin, he's like, oh, ćemo na jednu pod našu staru, kao, like our old one. And he starts singing like Divočice Rožice or something like Divočice Rožice, bele su ti nožice, kibi. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This sounds Eastern. He's like, yeah, this is like the stuff we do in the folklore. I was like, I had no
idea.
Clue. And then, so I recorded them, and then I asked who sings like, and they was like, oh, that lady sing the mother of this guy, she's a singer, and like, you don't even know, you're like buying stuff from them regular, you don't know that they're considered the singers, but she sings in the style of the other village. And then, because she was married into here, and then the blah,
like
blah,
the local particularities, right?
Very, very in particular. And so, and then he gave me a few cassettes that were like recorded, I don't know, in the 80s. And I like looked around a little bit more, and then I found out that the radio, our Radio Rijeka, the city where I'm from, they had this show that was done by music. He was a conductor, and Dusan Prašlin. He would go around the villages and just do field recordings. So they had it in their archives.
And how easily you can get to the archives?
Just ask. Literally, like I had I know a few people who are working in the radio, because like when you give, you have a show, then you come there to promote something, you get to meet them. And I was asking this friend who worked there, I was like, he's like, yeah, we got the archives. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna put it on the CD, and I'm gonna give it to you. And so then he gave me the stuff from specifically Islands Res and Lošinj. So I have recordings from the shows from Orlec, which is like high up in the mountain hill. Then I have from Belay, where my mom is from. And then I have from Nerezina, which is like on Lošinj, which is on the coast. You can find same songs.
Yes,
that
like
are
different versions, right?
And the ones from Orlec is crazy mob, kind of like what you said. You hear wolves, but we didn't have wolves, I think, on the island. But you kind of hear that. And then same song, it's a little bit more. And then in Nerezina on the coast, it's like tempered. It's like major thirds and stuff. It's just the influence, because they're more connected. But I wanted to play you, and I'm going to do it now, which is one song. So I always talk to Sandra how like I found this music later, but I never played it for her. this thing. So this is really from Tres. Let me just see what's. Oh, I don't know what this is. Let me see. The subtitle, right? Yes, globalization. I'm just gonna put this here and. Hey, Valentina. Hi. That's the from Ruja.
Yes. Hi, Valentina.
Okay, so where did I put this? That's a good question. Oh, it's my iTunes. Let me know if you can hear this because I see this is like the whole show. It was called Mantinhada and it's from Orlets and this is a working song.
Do you also how do you find out about the stories behind the songs?
Well, this is just the recordings that I can find and they talk about it here. So this is like a work song from working in the field. Mm-hmm. That's all they say.
Yeah. Okay, that's
I don't know anything more about it.
Yeah, because I feel like that for me, I usually find out about it either through workshops or working with other musicologists or finding papers of ethnomusicologists, like science papers, basically.
Yeah, like somebody did a PhD on it.
Yeah, like dissertations or there are a couple of these. We have like SANU. How do you call it? Unia Nauka i Umetnosti. I forget what it particularly stands for. Please don't kill me. But yeah, they have like a publication where you have a lot of these types of papers that ethnomusicologists or ethnologists write. So for me, that's how I've been finding out about things.
But that's like back to the internet. Like if you before this time, like if you wanted to find this, you would have to go to like a certain place, like I don't know, some national library, wherever they
archives,
keep it, and then you know, and who? I mean, come on, like.
But I feel like also if you want to Google, these things are not so easy to find.
They're not. No.
You know, I feel like there has to be a way that it's better organized than the kind of we have like a one-stop shop or something like that. I think
good luck doing it.
So whoever is listening, if you want to do it, please. Let's hear this. I'm super curious.
Yeah, so it's female, like male part and female part, but like an ensemble, just like going one at the other. Let me just share the screen. Yes, let me know if you can hear it. I hope you will. Okay. They're like responding one to the They hear it better because they had like come together as well.
It really sounds like bagpipes to me.
Okay.
What did you say?
Oh, they're just reminding each other of the Hvala Bogu da smo mi. Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't hear it really well, so I'm gonna pause it now. It goes for a while. Yeah, but you see, it's very similar also.
It's very
to
similar. This is actually
vibe.
reminding me now of Siv Sokole, because Siv Sokole actually comes from Serbs from Lika, which is super close to
let's
Dalmatia,
play it now.
who then migrated norther. Some of them went to Vojvodina. So a lot of times you would hear these songs in Vojvodina, which is usually very Austro-Hungarian, and then I was like, why is it, how this sounds like this, but it's because it's from Serbs from Lika.
Yeah, so let's play it. Let's play it.
So you'll hear a lot of these drony things.
So this is this one, right?
Yes.
Siv Sokole. It's by Pevačka družina Sve. Okay. So singing, singing. Družina.
Yes.
Ensemble.
Ensemble, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's play it.
Siv Sokol.
Yeah. Which you see, Sandra didn't know, but like. She chose this to play this for today.
So very weird interval movements there.
So crazy.
And all these like sudden ends, right? It was
Yeah.
the same thing in
Yeah,
the
they
previous
cut it,
one, right?
yes.
You drag it and then you
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to listen to
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
we
such
can
a
play it, yeah.
it's a good parallel, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them finish this word. I hate to cut it even though we're talking above it and probably it's disruptive anyways, but they have to finish it. You're right. Oh, come on. Not joking. Okay.
There you go.
There we
Next.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also like the thought that I'm having is how, a lot of contemporary classical music is kind of moving towards this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
On one hand is like, oh wow, what is this? It sounds so old, and the other, on the other hand is like, wow, it sounds so avant-garde,
Yes.
at the same time. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
true. Very, very true. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm like, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's very, very similar. But I remember you wanted to play Groktalica before.
No, so basically, like, actually, that's another connection, because I think in
It's very similar to
Dalmatia is Gange.
Yes.
Then you have parts of Bosnia where it's Ojkalica, another one is Groktalica, but and it's what were you kind of mentioning of like, oh, you have the same song within this very small area, but then when you go from the top of the mountain to like the coastal part, the song sounds completely different.
Exactly.
So this is the same thing with the vocal inflection, right? So oikanje or groktanje, it basically means this kind of shaking of the sound, right?
Mhm.
But in a very glottal way, that kind of a thing. But then all of these places do it in their own way, and then they have the different types of names, how they call these songs that have this vocal effect. Let's call it that way. But yeah, but I would say the substance is the same. It's just how they approach it and what they do with the inflection. I remember when we were at that workshop of Svetlana when she played those two male singers.
Yeah, oh my
the
god.
way how they did it, it's
That
just
was-
like there's no way I can imitate that. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna need some months to sit down with it and just see how they do it. I remember you just feel like the earth moving, and we were not even, it was a recording. We were not in the same room with them. I really, actually, I never heard anybody sing Grobtolica in the same space.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would really love to experience because it's such a specific thing. It's very, very, very
it's
shocking in a way.
But I think it's kind of visceral. at
Yeah,
least
very
with that.
visceral. Yeah, which I feel a lot of his music is.
Yeah.
Such a great adjective.
Yeah, that I learned.
to put this music into one umbrella.
No, because you resonate with it in a way. It's made to do that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's made to move your core.
Yeah.
You know.
Shake your organs.
Yes.
Yes.
Massage your organs.
Yes. Okay, so who are we gonna listen to?
We're gonna listen to Bojana Nikolic. She's a very renowned Serbian ethnomusicologist. The same way a lot of ethnomusicologists are also in Svetlana's group. And Svetlana is one of, I would say, like the most famous singer and ambassador of Serbian traditional singing. Yeah. So this is Bojana Nikolic and her group.
Okay.
Odakle si Plavka. Where are you from? Plavka? Plavka was probably like a name derivative from the color of a hair. So we say plavusha for a person that has blonde hair. So probably something like that.
Let's listen.
Oj, pitaju me, odakle si Plavka, joj. Oj, pitaju me.
That's her?
She's blonde. The middle.
Okay.
So it's also cool to see like how the rhythm changes, right?
Yes. So crazy.
So a lot of microtones in the shake itself when Bojana does it. Yeah.
This is Bosnian. I heard Yaitsa, that's why. It says it right here. Ah, so cool.
Yeah, it's great to see like the change of pace, right? What we talked
Yeah.
about before, how you know, you have some songs that are in a very particular rhythm. A lot of them, like especially songs from Kosovo, they're like at 7/8, 9/8. But a lot of times it's really when it's just vocal music, it's really just how you feel it. But here, there was such a big span, right? Of like very dragging to accelerating and just getting into a particular groove at a point. For me, like hearing all three of them do oikanye in their own way also just reminded me of a great point of that I always liked about traditional music is how this balance between restriction and freedom. Because in similar way, like how it is in jazz music, you have the freedom of interpretation. There's a lot of singers are known, like especially like the singers, right, of a region, or you know, they were like known as good singers. They're known for something that they, you know, for their particular vocal style, like what they did. In this song, they do this slide, or in this song, they do this thrill, and then they kind of brought in the song into a different light. So there's just this freedom to make song your own kind of a thing. I really like it because I think it's such a jazz state of mind. But on the other hand, you have like, okay, this is how we sing this song.
This is how it's done.
This is how it's done at the same time, right? So you have to. Freedom always has boundaries, right? So it's that also. Like, okay, this is the playground that you have. These are.
But who establishes the playground? That's the question.
Yeah,
because
that's a good
sometimes
question.
you have, like, people who want to preserve the stuff for that good reason.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, no. This is not how you done. But maybe they heard something, and like, when I think about it, like how people sing and what they do, I just think they're like, back then, if you could like sing above everybody else, like seriously, and whatever it took to make that kind, you know, they're like, you would imitate because they figured out before, you know, the elder before you how to do it. But then if you like put some of your inflections and stuff, like you'd show off. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think it was like so much as maybe we want to do it now just to for the sake of preservation.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It was
know?
just the way how you
and you
learn
didn't have
anything.
recordings. So what could you know, like you would learn from the neighbor, and then your child will learn from you, and then it just kept going on like that.
So
and
so
it
this
gets
whole
distorted.
thing of like, so this whole thing of like, this is how you sing something is more academic in a way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because back then it was just the way of being. The only way for you to hear the song is what you said, from a neighbor. The only way to, you know, how we learn, the process of learning is we first always emulate.
Exactly,
and
you
then
just take in.
We find our own voice. Or not.
Yeah, of course. But that's why you had like, I was super surprised, like on Ceres, which is super isolated. It's an island.
Yeah.
Like that you had something that somebody who was born in the 20s, you know, of previous century, that would be like, oh, this is ours, like, you know, and it's just because somebody brought it over, and you can hear it because it's so very different from the other things. But like everything was brought at some point. People were brought at some point. Like, you know, we can go back and it's just, you know, there's a never-ending change. Really. So you could be like, this is how it's done. It's like, this is how it was done there, geography, and then that time.
Oh, this really got me thinking of just style.
Yeah.
You know, in a broader sense of the word, in music, but also in arts, because what you said, geography had such a big importance, and like containment within an environment that also had its own set of rules, of values, of way of living, of way of being.
Yeah.
But now I feel because of phones and you know, like everything that we can basically be and hear, and you know, right, the extension of our senses because of the internet, that we can really be anywhere and hear anything and see anything. There's this distortion of that. So what happens with the style? Because I feel right now, genre as a thing, it's been dissolving in the past 10 years or so. Even in the mainstream, it's really not, you know, as clean and clear as it was. It's really dissolving, and everything is getting very, very, very much fused. You know, like a lot of times when you read a biography of an artist, the genre bending, blah blah blah, the genre defying this person, you know. So it's where we're going, which is interesting because then we can see like people can mix so many different things and make something that never existed before. So there's innovation in it, but on the other hand, the other side of the coin is kind of, I don't want to say destruction because it's such a big word, but for the lack of a better word, kind of destruction of our lineage, right? Because like I don't know, even for funk, right? You had James Brown, then you had Prince, then you had D'Angelo, now you have Anderson .Paak, right? So all of them clearly are coming from the same branch of the genre, and a lot of, you know, other styles in jazz, like you have a gazillion branches. Like this is the I don't know, Dexter Gordon branch, this is this branch, but now with this dissolvement of the genre, I wonder what's going to happen with the lineage itself, right? I feel like if we imagine them as branches, they're all just going to get like intertwined.
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna raise you.
Raise me.
I'm gonna raise you because what I'm thinking is like if you're looking at it from now, from this point to in the back, you can see clear stuff, but in the moment you can't. I think that's the case.
Oh, that's a great point.
And I think like when funk was hello all the people who are watching for traditional music. Okay.
Sorry, I made that turn.
I'm joking. No, it's funny because I love thinking like that. Like funk became a style. It was innovation. It was getting from other things, and it became so popular at the in a moment. And why? So then I like it's another thing to think why something becomes popular or not. But if you have a branch or a style, it's because somebody did something that was actually different. And that became popular. Other people started copying it, and if enough people started copying it, then it became
more mainstream.
Or a specific thing. And if not so many, if it wasn't so popular or not too many people caught on to it, then it was it was this person, and then that's it. But then you're looking from like perspective of now. Okay, yes, with the internet, you have so many more influences, and it's a little bit different than what it used to be before, but it still was an innovation and something that's popular, and it's easy to look back now because
and
you don't see all the other people
that
were around it. So that's how I see it.
That's a great point. Yeah, because a lot of things is just you need to be in in a different point of view to have the overview. And
exactly, and you can't. And maybe like somebody in 100 years they're gonna be like, oh, in the 20s of 21st centuries, this was the line, and you can't see it now. You're part of it. You're in the pot.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah. And because it's so more intertwined, it's harder. It's even harder to see. But like even now, when you look at the 90s, you have a feeling for it. But if you think about like what was on MTV when when you're watching it, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot of different things.
Like
and pop music evolves all the time. Like it, what's popular in this moment, funk, disco, wherever we went. But it was just like, oh, new sound, woo,
Yeah, that's a great point. And now for me, when I go back to thinking about traditional music and preservation, and like what we talked about, someone else's interpretation, who sets the rules of how things should be done. I think what I see as the most important part of, if you ask yourself a question, are you or whoever else is doing a good job of preserving something, I think it's not taking the song out of its context, out of its folkloric context, which I think a lot of ethnomusicologists have been in a way traumatized with what happened with turbo folk, right? And what's happening with some groups now who want to make traditional music hip, so they put beats and crazy, like modern production and stuff like that. Is just, you cannot take a song that's, for instance, a funeral song and make people jump to it, So I think it's a part of it is that I think that's the most important thing when you are preserving something, that you stay aware of the context. Yeah. That the song was been a part of.
Yeah, Definitely. I mean, some like you wouldn't take a funeral song to jump at, of course, but like I
People
see
do that though, you know. People do that.
people do everything. That doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, because I think
But-
sometimes, you know, even really good musicians just see songs as see the music part of the song. They don't even, some instrumentalists don't listen to the words even, and then not even go even deeper into okay, where and how this song came about.
Yeah.
So I remember, like, I was at one, now going back to jazz in a way, but I was at one workshop and this girl started singing Summertime, but she was really loud and just like riffing all around. And when she was done, the teacher was sitting and she's like, you know that this is a lullaby? But I
Yeah.
remember it stayed with me, and it was such a big lesson
Yeah.
in this, of like, no,
What it's
where,
about.
what it's about,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
where it comes from, and like
Yeah.
what type of song it is.
No, because when you said keep the context, like the context of what it is, because if you just keep everything the same, then what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we should be able to. We also had these discussions
Yeah,
too
yeah.
before in our rehearsals, how much you can move away from something and why, but you have to know why.
Yeah, you have to know why.
That's
Bravo,
I think
a
that's
great
the
point.
point, because if you also just keep it, then you just rather let's play the original thing.
Thing.
Like I can't sound like somebody from 100 years ago who grew up in completely different times, food, environment. Like you know, I can't,
Yeah.
and that's fine. That's
Yeah.
just okay. And then, like we with Rosa, we did a lot of collaborations.
Yeah.
We put is like
Mm.
instruments, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like a lot of contemporary instrumentation.
Yeah.
Drums, Marco is the first one. Marco Đorđević that
Mm.
comes to mind with his band, and you know, like well, you just have to have a good reason why
Why?
and how to put it. Like,
Yeah. What you
that's the
said.
thing. That's the because you have to keep going forward too.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's
Yeah.
very
Yeah, that's a good point.
important because if you get like a lot of people will not even hear things if they're like the same, or they will not know, or it's you know you have to make little step by step.
Yeah.
Connection, and then it worked for me like that. I can say that, and you know
Mm.
maybe if somebody played this to me 20 years ago, I'd be like, what? You know,
Yeah, what is
whatever,
this? Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What, whatever.
Yeah, like me 10 years ago, like, why do I don't want to go to this Bulgarian choir thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember when that became pop. Like that was with Bregovic,
Mm.
and when his ensemble, when he hired the Bulgarian voices to sing Ederlezi, and everybody was like, oh, this is like
Wow.
probably the first time I heard it. If I
Yeah.
think back.
Mm. Yeah,
You know?
it's introduction to
Yeah.
to that,
So it
yeah.
was through like a big pop band that he was a part of in the 80s, and like you know Bielo Dugme,
Dugme, yeah.
and then him doing a project with this, and I was like, wow, like I love that music.
Yeah.
And otherwise I
Mm.
might have not heard about it, you know, and then
Yeah.
you just start like going around and going back.
So like, okay,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah,
Let me
and keep
like,
going.
track
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah,
track
yeah.
back. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, these are, you know, these are things that very philosophical in a way that probably a lot of musicians who have any touch with any type of traditional music ask themselves,
Yeah,
or if
yeah.
not, should ask themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
These are you know,
Exactly.
existential, artistic questions.
And people have different answers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna see, you know, going back, you're gonna see the answers. But let me see. Oh, who said? Okay, Tito Mike. I'm not gonna comment on that. It's very awesome. Thanks, John. I want to come to something else. Let me just pull it up. What is it? Corrosion. Great. Yeah. This is how you now got the R&B folk in Balkans. Do you know what that is?
No.
Me neither. Jovana is hip to like whatever is going on. Okay,
Joanna,
there's
please
somebody-
share some links.
Yes.
You
And-
have your ear very close to the
And we
ground.
have a list, yeah, this is another person, Jovan and Petar in Belgrade. I'll go as example. I think Damir Imamovic does great work with preservation of folky ethno music. Would like to know if you both agree. Yeah, I don't know a lot about his music, but from
Me
what I
neither,
heard,
actually.
A little bit. I know he plays like a lot in Zagreb, and yeah, definitely. I agree, Petar. And hello. It's my friend, another friend from Belgrade.
Hi, Petra.
Yes. All right. Are we gonna sing or what?
Yeah, let's see. Maybe let's close it with a song. Yeah.
Yes.
You
So-
said the time's gonna fly by. I did not believe you as much. This is, yeah. We've been live for like an hour and a half at this point.
Do I know who was the female vocal singing Ederle Bregovic soundtrack for Queen Margot? No, tell me, Petar. Tell me. Cool R&B folk is what you said. Modern music and Balkans that put the pizza.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, we were waiting to hear back from Petar. Who was it? Female singing. He knows like
Yeah.
so much about music. It's insane. I learned about Croatian music as well.
Is that
from him.
your journalist friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also
So
a night
that
house.
must-
An
that explains his
international
curiosity.
house.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ofra Haza. Oh, really? I did not know
Wow.
that. All right. I'll check it. Thank you, sweetie.
you.
Yes. I did not know that. Cool. All right. So we should sing something.
You want to sing Ojda Milici? Because that's also one of those examples that is like, it ended up being northwest Bosnia, but it actually, some of these songs came from Lika or from like Serbs from Croatia.
Okay. If I'm going to lead, I can do that one. But I want to show Janko also. Like, we can
Okay.
just do one verse
Yeah,
of
we can do
everything,
one verse.
you know?
Sure.
Just to show. But we should warm up.
We should warm up.
And we're gonna record that Jeterve song later, so we need
So
to
be on
warm
the
up.
lookout.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to look.
But you see the time, right?
Yeah.
I thought. What did I
fly
tell
by.
you?
It did fly by.
And I just don't want to stop. Okay, I want to keep going. But we also have to have like a late lunch, early
Yes.
dinner. So, yeah. So, what do we do for our warm ups?
Do you want to do the
Rosa?
seconds?
Sure.
So this one is fun. Actually, this warm up ended up on Tana's record, unintentionally.
Another one who is putting the sounds with contemporary stuff. Oh, we
Yeah.
can play that at the beginning of that.
Yeah, we should. play it.
We
Yeah.
should. Let me find it and
I
tell
want
about
you
it.
to hear it when you have a lot of singers doing it at the same time. But yeah, Maria, our other co-founder, showed us this warm up because she
Yeah.
took lessons.
Let's
back-
play. Let's
back
play
in the day.
the beginning of the
Yeah,
of
so you-
Tana's thing. But can you?
Yeah,
talk
so
about-
basically what's happening, we all start at one note as a unison, and then one person just goes off by a half step up and stays there, so we really feel that minor second. So the point of this warm-up is to attune, right, to get a blend together, but also to get your vocal folds, but also your ears used to these minor second harmonies, right? So one person goes half step up, then for a while, then it goes back, and then it goes half step down. The same way stays there, so we feel that minor second, and then they pop back. And because, Astrid and I, now we're going to do it just two of us, so it's going to be kind of equal forces on both of them, but usually how it is, and then you'll hear it in Tana's thing, that unison sound, that first tone is way more powerful and louder, and then the person that's swaying just kind of makes it feel like there's a little bit of a bend of that note, right? But because that group note is, more
Is
audible.
it at the beginning of this or
Yeah.
not?
It's
It
at the
is.
it should be, at the very beginning.
Of the same song. It's not.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
start. Okay. Let us do it, and then we're gonna play it.
Yeah, so you hear it.
Yeah. I don't know what tone it is. I thought it was like a separate track. No. Like an
No,
intro.
I think it's the very, very beginning.
Wait.
That's how it opens. At least that's how it is on Spotify.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
think it's the same.
Okay. So let's do there.
You want to stay? Okay, let's stay
Yeah.
there. You want to go first, or should I?
You go first.
Okay. So just.
Yes. It feels so
Hopefully
good.
we
People
didn't break
try
any
it.
ears.
Try it at home. Try it at home, please. Try this at home. It feels really great, like it in your body.
Yeah.
You know, let me just
Awakens
turn
your body.
the volume of the light a little bit because outside is dark now. So, all right. So what are we doing?
You want to play Tana's thing?
Yes, I mean, I keep forgetting. Okay. So listen to this. Check this out. Huh.
This is when 6 people do it.
Yes.
Ona se bori, nikad neće se dati. 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 Ona se bori.
So now the English choir comes in as well.
Ona se bori, nikad neće se dati. I am woman,
Cool.
my roots reach into the ground.
So this is an example of how successful new music can be done. Let me just turn it down a little bit. We can talk over. So guys, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. So this is us singing on Tana Alexa's album, and
So she nominated for a Grammy, guys.
yes. Yeah. Oh, if somebody is watching who's voting,
Yes,
I don't know if
please.
it ended or what, but please vote. That would be amazing. But this is so this is all Tana's writing, original music, but she had in mind the kind of a sound like a Balkan, like a female, and then she put it together with an American.
Yeah, so like speaking of why, this is an amazing example
Yes.
of why, right?
Yes.
Because she has 2 voices, the voices of a past and the voices of today, and also voices from her homeland and like ancestry, and then place of where she is right now. So I feel like such a great way to bring these 2 worlds together in such a good musical way. Because guys, this is not easy. It's really not easy. Like when it's done well, you don't hear how complicated it is. And it's also like she wrote this in 11/8, so you need to write an English lyrics, and that's a language that does not really work so much in odd meter, right? And you have to make it match the melody that's being sang in Croatian. So it's definitely a skill. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So Ona, which means she, and thank you Tana for having us.
Yes. Thank you for godmothering.
Yeah, this was so cool. Okay, so we're gonna finish this with, what did we say?
We said Ojde mi ići u svatu, which is Svatovska song. So we have a particular name for a wedding party, which is Svatovi.
Mm-hmm.
This is the song where wedding parties coming together. So it's a song for weddings, but this particular moment. And then we have a lullaby for a deceased man called Zaspojanko, which actually a lot of times it's called Croatian song, Serbian song, Croatian song, Serbian song. So we don't know. It's would probably share it. And also, like, I've heard somewhere that it's a Bosnian song as well. So I would
Oh,
say
no
it's
shit.
probably it's probably from a region that that's just like in between. So
Yeah.
everyone's claiming it, but it's a beautiful
Yeah.
song. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Okay, you wanna?
So, oi.
Oh yeah,
Oi da minha. Is that good?
that's good.
Okay, let's do 2 verses.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Oj da mi je ići u svatove, oj da mi je ići u svatove, još u one gdje je janje moje, još u one gdje je janje moje. And then so on. Then it starts to be a drinking song. It's a wedding song. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Finishing.
singing with you. haven't happened in a while.
I know.
Yeah, so we're gonna finish it with Zaspojanko. Let me just see. Our chatting can be louder. I'm sorry. This is how it is. This is the ending of it. But thank you. Yeah, thank you, Bert, for your feedback, and we'll make sure to turn it up the next time.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. Thank you.
Janko?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's fine. Zaspojanko pod jablanom, mile moje drage, lepe moje crne oči, pogledajte na me, lepe moje crne oči, pogledajte na And with casting away the evil spirits,
Yes.
we conclude.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
We should
you
do it
for having
again.
me. Yeah, we should do it again. This was
Yes.
fun. It's
All
fun.
right. We'll do
you
it
guys,
again.
You guys sound like you know about what you're talking,
Yeah.
about. I think it's
Valuable
valuable.
info. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
Bert.
the language, Serbian, Croatian. Oh, thank you, Valentina. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yes.
Keep watching. We'll be back. I love this, really.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Wow. Let's go eat something.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Let's have a feast.
Yes. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Take care.